Debate from Kisii University this Thursday on the 9th of June exclusively on KBC Channel 1 from 9:50 p.m.
Furahia maisha bora, linda jamii yako.
Hii ng'ombe ni yako. Asante. Hii ng'ombe itatoa maziwa mengi kabisa. Sasa shida ya school fees imeisha. Keri, chukua hii. Hebu nikuulize, hii maneno nasikia ya bima ya elimu inaweza kuonekana mtu anachukua. Process ya kuchukua insurance cover yote ni rahisi. Hata niko na cover ya gari yangu. Kwanza unajaza proposal form kama hii na uijaze wewe mwenyewe. Na kama haujui kusoma, uijaze na mtu mwingine. Hakikisha ile majibu umepatiana ni sahihi na ni ya kweli. Pia dhibitisha insurance cover imeangalia maslahi yako. Na usiwahi sign proposal form ambayo haijaandikwa kitu chochote. Pia ukumbuke kujitolea photocopy yako. Sasa wacha nianze hiyo process. By the way, ukisubmit hiyo proposal form, uhakikishe umepatiwa policy document. Uisome na uielewe. Hiyo ndio dhibitisho ya kuwa una bima.
KBC to use satellite modems to transmit elections results. That is a story that we'll be highlighting tonight. Later on in business, we'll be having young and industrials. Welcome to tonight's Prime Edition. My name is Njenga. Let's take a look at the highlights. Technology-enabled voting. IEBC to use satellite modems for electronic transmission of results. Bye-bye for now. National Assembly adjourns Sine DA 60 days to the general election. In sports, Ferdinand Omanyala is crowned African 100 meters champion in Mauritius. Welcome back. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Lucy Maura. We now take straight to National Assembly, where counties are set to share 370 billion shillings in the next financial year after National Assembly passed the county allocation of revenue bill without amendments. Nairobi County will receive the lion's share of 10 billion shillings, while Lamu County will receive the least amount of 3 billion shillings. And as Kamche Menza reports, members of parliament who might be recalled, the Senate approves the county additional grants bill. The National Assembly has adjourned Sindinai and will be, or rather the National Assembly has adjourned 2 months to the general election. Let's take a look at that story.
House business on the last day of the 12th Parliament at the National Assembly saw members hold 2 sittings in a bid to conclude crucial bills, mostly related to the budget.
Honourable members, let's pray.
In the morning sitting, legislators considered the supplementary appropriation bill that validates executive expenditure of 79 billion shillings for the financial year ending 30th June 2022. MPs also approved the county allocation of revenue bill without amendments.
We approve the county allocation of revenue bill so that together with the appropriation bill that we've passed, they can become the basis of appropriating monies to the national government as well as to the counties.
The 5 top counties in terms of allocation are Nairobi 19 billion shillings, Nakuru 13 billion shillings, Turkana and Kakamega 12 billion shillings each, and Kiambu County 11 billion shillings. However, the lawmakers who on Thursday afternoon adjourned the House sine die may be recalled to a special sitting to consider and approve the county additional grants bill, which is currently before the Senate.
Which means, Honorable Speaker, the additional resources coming from either the government or our development partners are not going to be available to the counties.
Should it be necessary, I'll call you to come and pass it for the sake of our counties.
Later, the lawmakers spent time reflecting on their performance and extending messages of goodwill to each other.
I take this opportunity to thank the people of Kibwezi East for giving me the chance to serve them.
I diligently perform my roles that are stipulated in the Constitution, the roles of representation, oversight, and legislation, Mr. Speaker, in the committees that I have had opportunity to.
However, the University Amendment Bill was shelved during the afternoon sitting on constitutionality grounds. Kamche Menza for Prime Edition.
Thank you, Kamche, for that report. Now, National Assembly has officially adjourned sine die, marking the end of the 12th Parliament. Now, MPs managed to pass 140 bills out of 342 proposed legislation in the last 5 years. Yeshoki Washira with some of the hits and misses of the 12th Parliament.
For the last 5 years, MPs have introduced 342 bills in the National Assembly and passed 140 of them. 114 legislative proposals were passed and assented to by the President, while 26 bills are currently before the Senate. Over the same time, the 12th Parliament confirmed the appointment of the first female Chief Justice and at least 60 ambassadors, among other senior government officials. The leader of majority, Amos Kimunya, lauded members for their performance and resilience, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic period.
I believe we have steered the business of the House in a very fair and accommodative manner, and we have managed to guide the calendar of this House efficiently and effectively, and even more importantly, we have accommodated various varying interests of the House and members.
Nina imani yale niloweza kujifunza katika bunge hili yataweza kunifaa nikiwa gavana wa jiji la Mombasa.
But as the House leadership lauds the performance of the 12th Parliament, MPs remain divided on the effect of the handshake between the President and the opposition leader on the House's execution of checks and balances on the executive.
The House and the opposition did not continue to serve the Kenyans well in terms of the opposition, and we were not able to keep the check and balances as required and as decided in the Constitution.
Up to the time that there was a handshake, the country was unstable. Nothing was going on. But the moment the relationship was created between the Right Honorable Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, things worked.
It is during the life of the 12th Parliament that at least 7 members and 2 former presidents passed on. MPs observed a moment of silence for their fallen colleagues. Yeshoki Washira, Prime Edition.
Now, the Independent and Electoral and Boundaries Commission has called for the court to restrict itself from handling matters relating to the clearance of candidates while making submissions relating to 8 consolidated cases challenging whether aspirants with integrity issues should be allowed to vie. IEBC maintained that it should be allowed to exercise its mandate without some assumption from other bodies. A 3-judge bench formed to hear the cases has retreated to draw its judgment.
With 60 days remaining to the next general election, the decision to clear aspirants with questionable integrity and a checkered past now lies with Judges David Majenja, Chacha Mwita and Mugure Thande. The thorny issue of contention arises from Article 75, Sub-Article 3 on the conclusiveness of whether once a state office is dismissed or removed from office should be cleared to vie again despite appealing against the ouster.
We urge you to make a finding that while looking at the leadership and integrity provisions,
Article 193 Sub-Article 3 and 93 Sub-Article 3 of the Constitution say that a person cannot be disqualified from holding public office unless all remedies are exhausted.
Whatever decision IBC makes for or against Honorable Sonko is reviewable, and the courts would have the last word.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission told the court that out of 241 persons they flagged on eligibility, only 3 were barred from the polls.
When the aggrieved candidate is appearing before IEBC, EACC should also be there with their findings, with their facts.
The IEBC defended its independence as a commission, saying it shall be allowed to perform its functions without usurpation.
That this court must decline jurisdiction, my lord. With regard, my lord, to issues around the acceptance or rejection, my lord, of the candidacy of the Honorable Mike Mbuvi Sonko.
Article 249(1) decrees that the objects of those commissions and independent offices are to protect the sovereignty of Kenyans and promote constitutionalism.
Some of the aspirants mentioned in the petitions include former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko, who was impeached and is now seeking the Mombasa gubernatorial seat, and Karungo Wathangwa, who is seeking the Kiambu senatorial seat. The ODPP maintained that if one is convicted, then they fail the eligibility test.
You must protect the people of Kenya from persons that seek office when they have moral questions hanging over there.
The judgment will now be given on notice. Serafina Robi for Prime Edition.
Now, still on IEBC, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission will use satellite modems to facilitate the electronic transmission of poll results in areas which are not 3G and 4G network enabled. IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati says 1,101 voting stations have been identified to use the satellite modems during the August 9th general elections.
What is it searching?
Simulation and testing of technology to election stakeholders, including representative of candidates, political parties and observers 60 days before the general election as required by the law. Independent Election Boundaries Commission Chair Wafula Chebukati says they decided to use the satellite modem after the National Assembly rejected changes that will have allowed transmission of results from a constituency tallying center.
The Parliament has rejected those recommendations. But those recommendations in the regulations were meant to make this process smooth. Example of cases where presiding officer is unable to transmit results from a polling station because of lack of 3G network, but on his way to the constituency tallying center, he finds network somewhere and transmits. That's what we had reduced in the regulations.
On the issue of electoral fraud, IBC says both the ballot papers and the result slips to be used on the August 9th will have a 9 to 10 security features.
Each and every of our device has got a unique ID. And when they transmit, they are going to be having a timestamp which shows the location of that device. We want to assure the country that your votes are actually secure. Your votes are secure. The reason why we asked for more time yesterday is to enable us address the issues that we have seen.
The Commission has also assured the country that the tablets, which will be used to transmit results from the polling station to the National Tallying Centre, are tamper-proof since they are encrypted to the Kenya Integrated Election Management System.
Each form is encrypted with the signature of the tablet from which it came. So you'll be able to trace each form to a tablet, and each tablet is traceable to a polling station. We will share which tablet has been assigned to which polling station before the election so that you know which tablet is where.
However, stakeholders present questioned the long time used to transmit the mock results, expressing concerns that the same may occur on the voting day.
The stakeholders in here present questioning the preparedness of the Commission in terms of transmission and security of the results ahead of the general election. The Commission says it is prepared to deliver a free, fair and credible election. For Prime Edition, I'm Zainab Said.
Well, that story by Zainab takes us to a fast commercial break. But when we come back, I'll be telling you more about politics and also looking at what Kenya Kwanza has been up to. We take that commercial break.
The talks have reached an important stage, and both parties are now expected to demonstrate goodwill and agree on a political settlement that to enable the people of Sudan to redirect their energies and resources towards economic development of this sisterly country. The sub-region is determined, and despite the magnitude and intricacy of the task ahead of us, to try and resolve this long-standing problem. I therefore urge the two parties to be flexible and demonstrate understanding and tolerance in the spirit of give and take, to give peace a chance.
The National Youth Service will hold its pass-out graduation ceremony this Friday, 10th of June 2022. His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta will be the guest of honor during the pass-out parade to be held at NYS Training College in Gilgil, Nakuru County. Follow the proceedings live on KBC Channel 1 this Friday from 9 a.m. NYS, go on, be great.
Our arts and entertainment industry has evolved over the years.
It is at such times that our destinies are written. Will we rise up in courage or die in cowardice?
Who are the movers and shakers in film and theatre? Get trendy as we review locally produced films and stage drama every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Cinemas and Theatre.
Brought to you by the Kenya Film Commission. Film Kenya, Capture Africa.
Welcome back, and you can continue interacting with us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1, and you can tweet me directly at Carol W. Njenga. And also later on, we'll be engaging with John Jacob Kuria and Nancy Okware, who are in Kisii County for the gubernatorial debate, where 7 aspirants are vying in that county. That conversation will be coming to you later on in this bulletin. Let's now take a look at the latest in politics, where Kenya Kwanza co-principal Musalia Mudavadi says the coalition will seek to reduce the high cost of living by keeping the government's debt ceiling in check. The Amani National Congress leader claims heavy borrowing by the current government has become unsustainable. His co-principal, Moses Wetangula and Ford Kenya, said the Western Kenya region will benefit immensely with 30% share of government they negotiated in the Kenya Kwanza coalition. The two were speaking in Butula, Busia County, where they held a series of rallies.
Hivyo tumepata fuliza ya shilingi 25 kwa kila dola kama wa Kenya. Sasa hiyo itamuumiza namna gani? Itamuumiza kwa sababu wewe utazidi kulipa ushuru. Na kwa sababu unaona bei ya sukari imeharibika. Bei ya mafuta imeharibika. Bei ya petroli imeharibika. Bei ya chakula imeharibika. Hata bei ya kununua nguo imeharibika.
Ile tumesaini sasa ni sisi kuleta hapa lori na kuweka vijana na kupeleka kwa army na kupeleka kwa polisi. Kwa sababu tuko na 30% yetu. Wakichukua army 30%, wakichukua police 30%, wakichukua nurses 30%, wakichukua walimu 30%, hata wewe utakuwa ndani ya hiyo.
Now, still on politics, a section of leaders allied to the Orange Democratic Movement has urged voters in areas where the party enjoys support to adopt the 6 places style of voting led by Suna East MP Junet Mohammed. The leaders argued that ODM needs numerical strength in parliament to effectively debate and pass laws.
The Orange Democratic Movement has moved to consolidate support in parts of Nyanza, areas perceived to be slipping away from party's political grip. Just days before Raila Odinga embarks on the tour of the region, his allies in Nyanza want the region to adopt the 6-piece voting pattern of voting.
Kule bungeni, jambo la muhimu ni idadi ya wajumbe. Na kwa hivyo sisi kama wanachama cha ODM lazima tufanye juu chini. Yoyote inawezekana tuhakikisha kwamba tuko na idadi ya kutosha ya wabunge.
ODM appears keen on looking out other candidates vying for various positions either as independent or on other party tickets.
Na lazima tupiganie chama ya ODM kwa sababu hiyo ndio chama chetu. Lakini mtu ako na haki ya kusimama na chama ile yote yeye anataka. Lakini wakati watu wa ODM wanazungumza, lazima wapewe nafasi yao ya kuzungumza kama watu ya chama ya ODM.
In cosmopolitan regions such as Nairobi, the Orange Democratic Movement has been pushing for the sharing of tickets among its allies in Azimio. ODM is facing a litmus test in Luo Nyanza, where a crop of verified political voices have been urging locals to vote in personalities and not parties. The campaign has seen the likes of Senator James Orengo, Ochilo Ayako and other luminaries take a break from national politics to rally the grassroots, where competition appears to be getting stiffer by each person's son. Elvis Otieno for Prime Edition.
Boresha maisha na bima. Kifo ni lazima, japo haitabiriki. Pata bima ya matanga ili kuepuka wasiwasi wa michango isiyo na maana unapompoteza mpendwa wako. Bima hii husimamia gharama zinazohusiana na matanga. Pata bima ili kuhakikisha yote yatakuwa sawa.
Welcome to the 5th edition of the Kalasha International Film and TV Market.
We have an exciting array of conferences and workshops featuring film industry experts from across the world.
Come and experience the best of Kenyan storytelling at the Kalasha Market 2022.
Come connect and trade in Nairobi.
Come and experience 3 days of film and TV exhibition by players from within Kenya and across the African continent.
Welcome to the Kalasha Market.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Welcome back. Let's now take a look at what's happening in the world of business. 247 claims have been lodged and by policyholders of the Collapse Resolution Insurance Company, and so far 88 claims worth 15 million shillings have been processed to alleviate losses encountered by policyholders and claimants as a result of insurance companies going under. National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani is calling for prompt resolution of troubled insurers and compensation of policyholders to boost confidence in the insurance products.
In the recent past, the insurance industry has witnessed a collapse of insurance companies such as Concord Insurance, Standard Assurance and Resolution Insurance Limited, attributable to numerous factors, among them poor governance, imprudent investment strategies and fraud. Other insurance companies that have wound up include United Insurance and Blue Shield Insurance companies, whose compensation will be rolled out in the next financial year. In August last year, the compensation process for Concord Insurance and Standard Assurance began, and so far 8 million shillings has been paid out to claimants.
We are still receiving the claims from those two insurers, but those companies are under liquidation. So after this process, we'll hand over the files to the liquidator, who is the official receiver in the Attorney General's office, to proceed with the next stages of the liquidation process, where the policyholders still can be compensated.
For Resolution Insurance Limited, which was placed under statutory management in April this year, 247 claims have been lodged, but only 88 claims worth 15 million shillings have been processed.
In the short term to long term, the medium term, I may say, we are well covered in terms of compensating any arising claims.
While launching the Policyholder Compensation Fund 5-year strategic plan, National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani called for prompt resolution of troubled insurers and compensation of policyholders to boost confidence.
To have a regulated where everyone plays, there's an even playing field in the industry. We've seen a number of companies as undercutting, engaging in malpractices that undermines the efficiency and effectiveness of the whole industry.
To look at issues of an expired premium, we will look at the quantum of settlement and how fast you can be able to offer that settlement when those needs arise.
The maximum amount of compensation payable to a claimant is 250,000 shillings, which experts say is small. An actuarial study is underway to inform revision of the amount.
We would be looking in the future of engaging the actuarial profession to be able to assess what can the fund pay against what the law says it should pay.
The Policyholder Compensation Fund receives a levy of 0.5% of total claims from each insurance company.
Now to our weekly segment, Young and Industrials. Now, following the advent of COVID-19 in the year 2020, Duncan Shear, then 21 years old, was laid off from his chef job in Nyeri. He returned to Nairobi and fell back on his hobby of making items out of cardboards, if only to keep himself busy. Little did he know he would end up relying on the same for upkeep. Our reporter Farah Yusuf visited Duncan's fine arts studio 2 years later and filed the following report.
Kasarani area, Nairobi County. We find Duncan in his business premises, the Fine Arts Studios. creative entrepreneur is working on a client's piece, a 3D art that is in its initial stages. He then walks me through this entrepreneurial journey that started after he was laid off from his chef's job following the advent of COVID-19.
From 2021 last year, August, I decided to let me do art fully. Until now, I'm doing it full time.
The 23-year-old ventured into home art, 3D art, school art and branding and making of advertising materials, all from carton boxes using a special knife, pen and spraying paint. Today, however, Duncan is doing a piece for the Young and Industrious show.
After you have the image, you have to create a template, just a drawing out of it.
He walks me through what it entails before coming up with the final piece.
After you have the image, you have to at least sketch something out, and I call it a template, so create a template out of it. The second process is transferring the template onto a cardboard. For a complicated piece of art, I'll have to pierce each and every part of the art I want to transfer onto the cardboard. Just because I drill the points, so I'll just draw them through kidogo, then I'll cut it later. So this is almost the final product. These are the pieces that I cut out. These are the boxes. This is the person. So the rest of the piece, I removed the top layer just to reveal the corrugated piece of art. So we're going to again create different pieces of art and fill them through. At least in a time. So this is just how I do it. Life just to be precise. And that's it.
With that, the piece is now ready.
You're good precise. Sababu ikishika pengine itastikia.
For images, a client sends a picture and then he creates vectors from his laptop. They are transferred to a template and then placed on a carton box for careful cutting and crafting. 2 years into the business, Duncan says he is now able to fend for himself through recycling the carton boxes he gets from a local shopping mall. She says he helps reduce pollution.
The art, because it's a completely new form of art, so on a daily basis, I learn something new out of it, and I think that's my drive, just bringing the most out of myself.
Challenges are part of the art.
Convincing someone to accept your pieces as good as the other pieces has been my biggest challenge currently. There is a laser cutting machine, which makes work so easy for artists actually who needs precision cutting. So a laser machine will be of so much benefit when I have such a machine actually.
Duncan hopes to venture into more challenging pieces of corrugated artwork.
I'm looking for an investor who can invest, obviously it's economically to get money, but to again preserve the environment for a later generation.
The young entrepreneur hopes that corrugated artwork will be a more acceptable form of art in the market, even as he looks to expand his business in the days to come. Yusufar reporting for Young and Industrious from the Fine Arts Studios in Kasarani, Nairobi County.
Oh, thank you, Yusufara, for that interesting story there. Now, Kenya is banking on business-to-business deals between local and international pharmaceutical producers to create local solutions for this market. Ministry of Health CES Mercy Mwagangi says despite Kenya's 50% market share in the Comesa regional pharmaceutical market, there is need for modern, responsive equipment to build a sustainable and affordable healthcare system.
Kenya currently boasts of more than 30 local pharmaceutical manufacturers. Despite being the fastest growing marketplace, for healthcare and pharmaceutical products in the region, Kenya still has not fully tapped the smart care and diagnostic equipment sector.
When we look at issues that touch on oxygen, when we look at issues that touch on point-of-care diagnostic equipment, when we look at issues of telemedicine, which we've seen is one of the important interventions post-COVID, field of manufacturing, particularly basic equipment, primary healthcare equipment, is one of the promising markets within this country and within the region.
So if we have quality products that are affordable and the same products manufactured within the country, then that will actually create access, affordability, and improve the economy.
The Ministry of Health is banking on technology for provision of efficient and progressive healthcare, owing to the change in the structure of medical demand after the COVID-19 pandemic. This is in addition to business-to-business deals between local and foreign pharmaceutical companies.
I think there are a lot of potentials in the Kenyan market. So the product is quite well received here, and they're hoping to bring more and offer more to the country.
We do have negotiations underway, MOUs underway, and the beauty of this is that all this is at an affordable cost. We are reducing the cost of care.
Mwangangi says the local pharmaceutical sector has immense potential for growth that could be realized by, among others, foraging into a smart healthcare system.
Kenya is ripe and we are ready for the world. So you don't need to go to Europe. You need to come to Kenya. You need to invest in Kenya.
The fact that Kenya is a pharmaceutical regional leader is uncontested. However, how can we expand further into the global market? Hibak Said for Prime Edition.
Thank you, Hibak, for that story. Now we focus on magical scenes, and tonight we are focusing on Vipingo in Kilifi County, which is an ideal tropical holiday destination for families, professional groups or friends. The beauty and serenity of Vipingo overlooking the Indian Ocean is attributed to tree planting and well-kept golf courses. Vipingo is tonight our focus on magical scenes.
Welcome to Pazuri in Vipingo, Kilifi County. Vipingo offers a life of relaxed luxury filled with activity, birding and sunshine. Overlooking the Indian Ocean, the blend of the clear skies and blue wavy waters secures your coastal enclave. Beautifully manicured gardens, lawns, wilder countryside, a golf course and holiday homes brings out the magical space you would need for a holiday, among others with your family, friends and colleagues. The numerous water features are opportunities for water sports. The beach line in Vipingo is spectacular and undisturbed. The white soft sand and indigenous vegetation around it make it more welcoming to visitors.
Notable thing is that it's on an elevated side. You can never realize as we are here, there's a very strong breeze. You know, for a moment you might forget you are at the coast because the weather, it's not that hot. Yeah, and also the fact that with the elevation you still have a very good view of the ocean, as much as it's not an oceanfront property because of the elevation still. And also, as you mentioned, the size of plantation, so it's not like all buildings, enclosing the property. And to sum it up, we have a golf course nearby. When you're out for holiday, about 80% of the expenses are on accommodation. If you can cut that out by getting an holiday home, then you have more to spend for holiday.
We didn't want to divert so much away from what is already known, the coast is known for. So if you look up the house, the normal niches which are most common in Swahili homes, the color theme, the vents, you see them mostly in Swahili. If you go to Mombasa, you will see most of these things in most of the houses. Plus, we try to mix it with a little bit of clay vents. If you see the villa, it has a place where you can see the entrance porch has a clay vent.
Vipingo is one of the best tropical holiday destinations in Kenya. Irene Mchuma Odim, Magical Sense in the county of Kilifi.
Well, let's now focus on World Economic Forum, and we focus more on the education sector, where Kenya's education transition rate has been hailed as a model of success during the just concluded World Education Forum in London. Bridges International Academies have also received recognition during the meeting, where experts said grade 1 pupils in the school were more than 3 times as likely to be able to read like their peers in other schools. The Education World Forum is the world's largest educational gathering, bringing together heads of state, thought leaders and academia, or interrogate the state of education globally.
In 2018, the government rolled out free tuition in secondary school 15 years after it introduced free primary education. Experts meeting during this year's Education World Forum in London have lauded Kenya's educational model, especially at the Bridges International Academies, for its holistic educational approach.
The report demonstrates that the path that is charted for the less privileged can be changed, and ensuring that they also have an advantage to be in a position to compete equally with peers in the advantaged privileged communities as well.
Nobel Prize economist Professor Michael Kremer has said a 2-year study of the Kenyan educational system has concluded that undeserved children receive 53% more learning over the course of their pre-primary and primary school career at institutions like Bridge International Academies, Kenya. The study says that after 2 years, primary school pupils in Bridge International Academies, Kenya, are nearly a whole additional year of learning ahead of children taught using standard methods.
The only reason why we are doing this is ensuring that we are effectively managing the schools, ensuring that we have structures and standards that we have set, that the teachers get to employ, that the academy managers get to use, so that they can support the teachers when they are instructing the classes. And this includes the way we are training our teachers, this includes the way we are monitoring them, this includes the way we are partnering with them, receiving feedback, continuing to improve on the instruction delivery mechanisms that we've put in place.
The World Bank estimates that 90% of 10-year-olds in sub-Saharan Africa do not reach this benchmark.
Kupata lazima nishike kama skiza tune yako. Bonyeza *811 962 hash.
Lazima nishike mapema. Nisiposhika hii simu mapema utakasirika. Unajua mimi nikiwa mtu ya marathon, najua niko na experience kabisa. Niko na experience. If you don't hurry, you will not break the record. Okay, wacha nishike hii simu.
Kupata lazima nishike, bonyeza *811 962 hash. *811 962 hash.
Welcome back. Let's now get sporty. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, Team Kenya today showcased a masterpiece performance in track events at the 22nd edition of the Africa Senior Athletics Championships in St. Pierre, Mauritius. Kenya bagged 3 gold medals in the men's 100-meter race and women's 1,500-meter and 5,000-meter races. Ferdinand Omanyala clocked 9.927 seconds to snatch the African title from Akani Simbine of South Africa, who clocked 9.930 seconds to finish second.
African 100-meter record holder Ferdinand Omanyala claimed African title after winning 100-meter race in 9.927 seconds. He defeated South Africa's Akani Simbine and Brintige's Henry Cho, who finished second in 9.930 and 10.01 seconds respectively. Kenya clinched the first 2 positions in the women's 1,500 meters race after all African Games silver medalist Winnie Chebet clocked 4 minutes 16.10 seconds to emerge victorious, while compatriot Purity Chepkirui finished second in 4 minutes 16.28 seconds. Asegu Ayal of Ethiopia came third. In the 5,000 meters race, Kenyans Beatrice Chebet clinched gold in a time of 15 minutes 82 seconds, while Caroline Njenga settled for bronze in 15 minutes 5.34 seconds. Ethiopia's Azale Fetbaye took the silver. Kenya also bagged a bronze medal in the mixed 4x400 meters relay after finishing third behind Botswana and Nigeria. Abraham Longosiwa opened the medal table for Team Kenya yesterday after settling for a bronze in the 10,000 meters race behind Ethiopia's Abraham Ogos and Gudeta Chimidesa Debele, who clinched gold and silver respectively.
Thank you, Nora, for that report. Now, moving on, the Safaricom Golf Tour heads to Kitale, Trans Nzoia County this weekend for its 10th leg at the Par 73 Kitale Golf Course. The event has attracted a field of over 170 golfers from Nandi Bears, Kakamega, Kisumu, Eldoret and Kericho golf clubs, with the senior tournament scheduled for Saturday and juniors on Sunday. Some of the key lady golfers from Nandi Bears drawn in the Saturday tournament are Lydia Jebichi, the overall winner of the 4th leg in Nyanza, and Faith Chemutai, a previous winner in the women's longest drive category. Last week, Kericho Golf Course played the host to the 9th leg of the golf tour. The Safaricom Golf Tour has so far been to 9 locations across the country. Algeria secured 3 points after they thrashed Tanzania 2-0 at the ongoing 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium. Meanwhile, Sudan lost to Democratic Republic of Congo 2-1 at the Al Hilal Stadium in Lusaka.
Ramia Bestian opened the score sheet for the Algerians in the 45th minute of the play.
Bailey through to the near post. It's on.